Hello, everyone. Welcome to the WACAC Virtual College Fair. We've got an exciting session today. Before we get started, a couple housekeeping items. Note that if you have questions, you can use the Q&A button to type your question to the presenter at any time. Also note that your camera and microphone are off. Our panelists can't see or hear you. So again, use that Q&A button if you want to communicate. Also note, we have additional sessions for other institutions on the StriveScan website. So if you are interested in another college or university, you can go out to the website and sign up at your leisure. Be aware as well that this session is being recorded and will be posted on the website at strivescan.com/WACAC. With those items behind us, we'll move to our first college, the University of Advancing Technology.
Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everybody. I'm Lori with the University of Advancing Technology. I'm going to talk to you this evening about UAT, the degrees we offer, our clubs, how to visit and apply. So, University of Advancing Technology is located in Tempe, Arizona. We have less than 1,000 students, only about 15 students a class, and we offer all technology degrees. Some things that make us unique are that our students attend all year round. So they complete their bachelor's degree in 2 years and 8 months. Also, when the students graduate, they'll graduate with a internship and a student innovation project along with their bachelor's degree. So UAT offers Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and master's degrees. You can customize your degree through your electives. So whatever degree you choose, you'll have 8 elective classes to take classes from other degrees. Under our digital arts degrees, we offer digital video, digital marketing, advertising art, and web design. Software engineering degrees we offer are advancing computer science, data science, and artificial intelligence. Game studies. UAT is actually one of the very first universities in the whole country to ever offer gaming degrees. We offer game design, virtual reality, game art and animation, and game programming. Many different gaming companies have hired our students for jobs and internships from our gaming degrees. If you're interested in business, we have a couple of business and innovation degrees. Technology studies, which prepares you for careers in marketing, management, and owning your own business, and business technology, which focuses more on product development. Cybersecurity. Our cyber warfare range was funded in part by the Department of Defense. So the CIA, FBI, and NSA recruit our students for jobs and internships. We offer network engineering, network security, and technology forensics. Our creation and simulation degrees we offer are robotics and embedded systems, human-computer interaction, which is creating user interfaces and user experiences on different devices, and digital maker and fabrication, which is a design and manufacturing degree. UAT is accredited through the Higher Learning Commission, which is recognized by the Department of Education. You can apply as a sophomore, junior, or senior in high school. It's free to apply. There's no SAT nor ACT required. We ask you 5 mini essay questions and combine it with your GPA to determine acceptance and scholarships. We have clubs like esports that competes in Overwatch, Fortnite, Rocket League, Smite, Super Smash Brothers. We also have Robotics Club, Pokemon Trainers Club, as well as other clubs too. If you are interested in finding out more about UAT, please check your chat. I added a link there you can complete, and we'll send you more information right away. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And I'll hand it back to Dave. Thank you.
We're on to our next presenter from DigiPen Institute of Technology.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Adele Karim. I'm here from DigiPen. First, I'm just going to play a really short, like a 25-second clip that shows some samples of our student work, and then I will get into my presentation. Okay, and now getting over to my regular PowerPoint style presentation. All right. So I'm here from DigiPen. If you haven't heard of us, we've actually been around for a while. We were founded in 1988. Our president and founder was a co-founder of Nintendo Software Technology, which was a first-party developer for Nintendo at that time. And so DigiPen started more as a production company, which is why our name is a little bit unique for a college, but we are now a private four-year college. And we have 4 areas of expertise, which are computer science, digital art and animation, game design and development, and music and sound design. We are located in Redmond, Washington, so in the Pacific Northwest, just outside of Seattle. So it's a great area because we're in sort of a tech hub, and there are a lot of game studios nearby for internships and jobs after graduation. But it's also a little bit more suburban and quiet and peaceful, and so it's a good place to be focused on your studies. We are the first school in the world to offer a bachelor's degree in video game programming. We have 8 undergraduate degrees and 2 graduate degrees. Our average class size is 20, but quite a few are smaller than that. Our graduates are credited on more than 1,500 commercial video games. So I'll put a link in the chat later to our alumni success page. You can see a list of all of the companies that our graduates have worked for and all of the games that our students have worked on. We've ranked as a top 5 video game design school by the Princeton Review for the last 11 years. And our students receive a lot of awards. The IGF is the International Game Festival. We've received more of those awards than any other school in the world. And our student films also receive a lot of awards and festival selections. Our students work on a lot of project-based learning. And so particularly in their 3rd and 4th year, they do professional quality projects. And then they go on to compete with those, whether that is making games or making short animated films. These are our degree programs at DigiPen. I'm just going to go through the undergrad ones really quickly. We have BS in computer science, BS in computer science and machine learning, if you're interested in like data analysis or artificial intelligence. For game design and development, we have a BA in game design, which really is more focused on design. We have a BS in computer science and game design. That's primarily a computer science degree, but you do take some game design coursework. And then we have a BS in computer science and real-time interactive simulation, which is our flagship game development degree. For digital art and animation, we have a BFA in digital art and animation. It starts with traditional art, drawing, painting, and sculpture, then goes into 2D and 3D digital art, and then 2D and 3D animation. And then for music and audio degrees, we have a BA in music and sound design that covers everything like theory, composition, but also sound design, sound effect creation, and sound tracking. And a lot of students in that program are looking specifically to do sound and music composition for games. And then we have a BS in computer science and digital audio. So similar to the other one that I mentioned, this is primarily a computer science degree, but it includes coursework on digital audio. So you're learning how to program audio, and a lot of students in that as well are looking to go into games or tech companies, specifically programming sound. Our academic approach is a combination of academic fundamentals and project-based learning. You apply directly to your degree program. So instead of taking, like some schools, you take more general education courses your first 2 years, and then you focus in your later part of your college education. At DigiPen, it's pretty focused throughout. You take a pretty heavy course load of like 16 to 21 credit hours per semester, and you get academic fundamentals down, and then you move on to a lot of project-based learning. Generally, game teams and animation teams are 7 to 10 people, but sometimes they're smaller and sometimes larger, and they're interdisciplinary, and you can look at a lot of samples on YouTube of student work, and you can even download student games. I'll put some links for how to do that you can see samples of what our students are working on, but it's really a great opportunity to create professional quality work before you graduate from college so that you have a good portfolio. As you're preparing to apply for the BS programs, we like to see a strong focus on math, science, and problem solving. Pre-calculus is required for several of our programs with the exception of computer science and game design. For the game design program, there is a design portfolio where you're writing 3 essays about 3 things you've designed. For the BFA program, there's also a portfolio, so check out our website. It's 5 prescribed pieces and then 5 to 10 additional pieces. And music and sound design, they want just a proficiency in music, and there's a portfolio requirement for that program as well. So this is our contact information. You can always reach us at outreach@digipen.edu. And if you go on our website, there's a tab that says Visit Us, and that's where you can find all of our online offerings. So things like online, campus tours and things like that, but also online events. We have some events that are more subject specific, and then other ones are more general admissions related, or things like financial aid. So just check that out if you are interested in attending a longer event. All right, thank you.
Thank you. We're on to our next presenter from Worcester Polytechnic Institute.
Perfect. You got the pronunciation correct. That's nice. All right. So, hi, everyone. My name is Tyler Gibbs. I am a senior assistant director of admissions with WPI. Here's some of our contact info. And I just want to thank everyone for joining us virtually here. So first off, a little bit about Worcester Polytechnic Institute, WPI. So we're located in the great state of Massachusetts, in the city of Worcester, which is the 2nd largest city in all of New England. About 200,000 residents, 35,000 college students in the city of Worcester. So it's a nice college city for students to take advantage of. And then a little bit about WPI. We have about 4,500 undergraduate students and about 2,000 grad level students. So a nice medium to small sized school. We are a STEM focused institution. All of our programs involve science, technology, engineering, and math. We have 12 engineering programs. We have game design, computer science, biology, physics, chemistry, as well as business for students to take advantage of. You can see some things here that are pretty important to us. One is that we have a 95% freshman to sophomore retention rate. So 95% of our students who move in for their freshman year return for their sophomore year, which is something we are very proud of. But what I want to spend the bulk of my short time here talking about is this thing called the WPI Plan. At WPI, we do education very differently from a lot of other schools. And so I want to talk about that. One is the way we deliver our academic calendar. So most colleges you might be looking at have 2 semesters in a year, each semester being about 15 weeks, where you take 4 or 5 classes each semester. At WPI, we actually have 4 terms. Each term is only 7 weeks long, and you only take 3 classes a term. You cover the exact same material in a 7-week term in those 3 courses as you would in a 15-week semester. So it's definitely a faster paced work environment, but that's great because you get to move on to the next level of material a lot quicker. And you get to only focus on 3 classes at a time, which is really great for our students to manage everything. The next thing we do a little different is the way we do grading. So at WPI, you can receive 1 of 4 grades in a class. You can get an A, a B, a C, or we call it no record, which we refer to as an NR. Basically what an NR is if you're going to get below C in a course, so a D or an F, instead of receiving a D or an F, you'll actually receive an NR. The NR doesn't show up in a transcript, doesn't affect your GPA. It's as if you never took the course before. And now there are a couple reasons why we do this. One, to help you with the transition to college. We don't want you to struggle your first year here at WPI and finish your first year with a not so great GPA. So you could NR a class or 2 during your first year at WPI and still finish your freshman year with a perfect 4.0. But on the flip side, we want you to challenge yourself and to take courses outside your comfort zone. And you can do that knowing if it doesn't go well, you can fall back on that NR policy. And then when I mention our grades A, B, and C, we don't have pluses and minuses to our grades. So it's a flat A, flat B, flat C. And the reason we do that is to cut out the competitiveness that can come with STEM-focused institutions. As I'll talk about in just a minute, WPI is incredibly project and team-oriented. You'll be doing projects in almost every single one of your courses in teams of other WPI students. You want to make sure that you're collaborating with those students instead of competing for a higher grade. The third part of this WPI plan is our curriculum. At WPI, we like to say that there's no one right way to be an engineer or a scientist. The inherent thing about being those things is to be innovative, but if everyone's studying the exact same courses, how is anybody supposed to come up with new things? So at WPI, we let you decide what classes you want to take. We give you a list of categories of courses you need to fulfill. And within each category, you might have to do anywhere from 2 to 6 courses, but you'll have a list larger than that to choose from to really mold your degree into what you want it to be. Then the last thing I'll touch on before my time's up are our projects. So this is really what makes WPI. We've been doing project-based learning before it was the cool thing to do. We started this plan back in the 60s and been doing it the same way ever since. So like I said, you'll be doing a bunch of small scale projects in almost every single one of your courses, but there are some large scale projects you are required to complete in order to graduate. I'll tease 2 of them right now, but I encourage you to sign up for one of our virtual info sessions so you can learn about the other ones. The first one I'll talk about is the IQP in the bottom left-hand corner. This is a student's junior year project where they actually choose to study abroad. Over 80% of our students will choose to leave campus to complete that project at WPI. It's an interdisciplinary project where students work to solve a social problem using their STEM background. And this is completed in a team of students. The last project you complete is that senior year MQP project. You can kind of think of this like your senior capstone. It's your way to say, hey, WPI, look what I learned during my 4 years here. This is also completed in a team of 4 to 5 WPI students, and this directly relates to your major. So before I end my time, I just wanted to touch a bit more about our global project. So here you can see we have over 50 different project centers all over the world that students can choose to study abroad. My sister actually went to WPI, and she studied down here in Southern Africa in the capital city of Namibia called Windhoek. And she loved her time studying abroad, but also her time at WPI. But my time's up here. But I would encourage you to check out our website, sign up for our virtual info session so you can see the full presentation. This is just a small 6 minutes snippet of it. But for the rest of it, I encourage you to check it out there. But if you have any questions, drop them in the chat, or you can check out my email on our website. I'm the only redhead, so I stick out.
Thank you so much. We're on to our next presenter from Texas Tech University.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name's April Tipton. I serve as the lead admissions counselor for Texas Tech University. I'm actually coming to you live from San Diego, California. So I'm super excited to be here with you this evening. To tell you a little bit about Texas Tech University, we're very excited to announce that we actually have over 40,322 students to be exact. We're still able to maintain the student to teacher ratio 20:1. We are a tier 1 research university. Our male-female ratio is 52% male, 48% female. Our average SAT score is 1147 at Texas Tech University. To tell you a little bit more about Texas Tech University, we're on the west side of Texas, 6 hours away from Dallas, 8 hours away from Houston. We have about 250 Lubbock residents, and 78% of the new students come farther than 300 miles away. So we're definitely not a suitcase campus. We're going to be going home every weekend. They definitely get involved in one of our clubs or organizations because we are definitely a traditional campus as well at Texas Tech University. Yes, there is an actual international airport in Lubbock, Texas, 10 minutes away from campus, which makes it easy for our students at Texas Tech to be able to get in, to go ahead and visit Texas Tech University. Again, people in Lubbock love Texas Tech. I kid you not, we wear nothing but red and black, lots of school spirit at Texas Tech University. Also, with that being said, at Texas Tech University, there's 10 academic colleges, including Honors College, with over 150 different majors that students can choose from. And this is consisting of undergrad, graduate, pre-law, medical, all under one campus. One thing that I do want to point out that we're super excited about is that we are going to be the second school that actually is going to have the veterinary school, which is going to be starting in fall of 2021, which is about 2 hours away from Lubbock, which is going to be located in Amarillo, Texas. Again, this is all consisting of undergrad, graduate, pre-law, medical, all under one campus at Texas Tech University. At Tech, we have over 550 clubs and organizations. You are required to live on campus your first year with 19 different res halls, 30 plus dining venues, 240 square foot rec center, which is absolutely beautiful. Again, as I mentioned, lots of spirits and traditions. We are part of the Division I, part of the Big 12 athletics. So if you're looking to apply to Texas Tech University, there are 4 simple necessary items that we'll need. You can apply through the Apply Texas or the Common App. We don't prefer one over the other. They're just simply different platforms. There's a $75 application fee, or we do have fee waivers. We will need your high school transcripts as well. Also, with that being said, official SAT and ACT scores, great news. We've also moved to test optional for the fall 2022 class, which means you do not have to supply your SAT or ACT scores to be admitted to Tech. We just ask you whether or not if you would like to be considered for test optional. So just make sure when you fill out to click test optional as well. But with that being said, if you do go test optional, and you do want to submit your scores for the maybe TSI requirements or for our presidential scholarships, you can do so. Also, with that being said, we do super score at Texas Tech University. Once we have all your documents, it takes 2 to 4 weeks for a decision to be made at Texas Tech University. Again, as I was mentioning, as far as applying to Tech, again, there are 2 types of admissions. We have the assured admissions in the application review process. The assured admissions is just a shortcut, all right? So if you're in the top 10, 5% with an 1180 super score, as well with a 20.
We apologize. It looks like we're having some connectivity issues here. We'll give it another second, and if not, we'll move on to our next presenter.
Hi, I'm back. So sorry.
No problem. Continue.
Thank you so much, Dave. I appreciate it. So with that being said, this will be our out-of-state tuition, which is here for our non-residents. And for our students that are attending out of state would be this. But one thing that I do want to touch base with all of you is if you do qualify for a $1,000 scholarship Tech, that's where you'll get the in-state versus the out-of-state tuition as well. We do have scholarship opportunities too for our students that are applying test option. Our freshman presidential scholarships, we do again require SAT and ACT scores. You can go ahead and submit these all the way up until June 1st of your senior year. Again, this is going to be off of your SAT and ACT scores. So if your high school doesn't rank, we'll rank for you based off your SAT and ACT scores. We do stack scholarships at Texas Tech. So again, if you receive one of these scholarships here, that's where you'll get the in-state on top of the scholarship here too as well. Also, with that being said, these are our Raider Connect portal where you're going to go ahead and upload all your documents. And you could definitely visit us at different virtual events just like this at Tech with the academic colleges, financial aid, and scholarship. Thank you so much, and I appreciate all of your time.
April, thank you so much. We're on to our next presenter from the University of Alabama.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin Payton. I'm the regional recruiter for the University of Alabama. I'm based out of Ventura County, and I cover the greater Los Angeles area and also the state of Hawaii for UA for the past 3 years now. Some little information about the university. One thing I always encourage students to think about when they're making their decision is to think about the size of a school. We're a pretty large school. We have around 38,000 students. Around 33,000 of those are going to be pursuing a bachelor's degree. Locations is another thing, obviously, that I tell students is very important. We're located, obviously, in the southeast in the state of Alabama. More specifically, we're in a smaller college town called Tuscaloosa, which I'll talk about here shortly. School spirit is something that was important to me. So if that's important to you as a student, or if you're a counselor and you have students that are looking for that, we have a ton of that at UA. One of the reasons I think why we have so much school spirit is because of our football program, we were pretty good. Last year, we won our 17th national championship, and our men's basketball team made it to the Sweet 16 this year as well. So we're proud of the accomplishments of our athletic program. Another thing too that draws a lot of students to UA is students that are interested in Greek life. We have the largest Greek community in the nation, with about 34% of our students being involved. That's around 11,000 students total. We do offer some pretty generous out-of-state merit-based scholarships, which I'll talk about here shortly. I mentioned our athletics. A lot of people know us for football. It's the first thing that comes to mind for a lot of people when they think about UA, but we're also second in the nation among public universities for National Merit Scholar enrollment. So as my friend Gary B at New Mexico says, we get athletes and we get mathletes at the university. And we're also ranked top 60 among public universities according to US News and World Report. So Tuscaloosa, where we're located, it's about an hour southwest of Birmingham. That's gonna be the closest airport. If you'd like to visit, I always encourage a campus visit. A couple different things you can do. I can also schedule in-depth visits where you can meet with a specific college. You can get a tour of fraternity or sorority row if that's something you're interested in. So please, if you are considering UA and would like to visit, please reach out to me. I can also send you a list of places to stay, places to eat, places to explore in and around town as well. So you can kind of get a feel for Tuscaloosa itself. Obviously, travel's a little complicated right now with COVID. So if you don't feel comfortable traveling, we have a couple virtual options. We do have a YouTube 360-degree campus tour that you can take. It tends to work best on a smartphone through the YouTube app. It's most functional that way. But we also offer virtual information sessions that are hosted by a variety of different colleges on campus. So you can hear specifically from the Culverhouse College of Business, for example, or the Capstone College of Nursing, College of Arts and Sciences. So you can also register for those if you'd like, and you can reach out to me if you want those links. One of my favorite things about UA is it's a great place to meet people from all over the country and really all over the world. We're a majority of out-of-state students. About 56% of our students come from outside the state of Alabama. California, we get a couple hundred every year. So if any students are coming from this area, you definitely won't be the only ones. And then another thing too that I really like is it's a great place to meet people with all different interests. We have over 70 different majors, over 200 different programs to study from, which I'm going to talk about right here. So those majors and programs are going to be housed in 9 different schools and colleges. Our most popular colleges on campus are going to be College of Arts and Sciences and also the College of Business, but we also have engineering, nursing, as I mentioned, education, human environmental sciences would be another example. We also have a program called New College where students can create their own majors as well if we don't have something specifically they're looking for. So no shortage in terms of opportunities. We also offer 7 different honors programs for students as well if they would like to utilize those opportunities. And we are a top tier undergraduate research university ranked tier 1. So there's tons of opportunities for that as well. Some things about UA, we have an awesome career center. We're top 10 for internship placement according to Princeton Review. We also have a pretty awesome Office of First Year Experiences. I mentioned us being a majority of out-of-state students. So that's really important for students to network and get involved early on in their freshman year. And our Office of First Year Experiences does that. We also have a 90% success rate for recent graduates within the first 6 months of graduation. So students are having some success post-grad. Moving along, student life, I think getting involved on campus is really important. One of those opportunities is going to be through clubs and organizations. We have actually over 600 now. The screen says 550, but we're adding more. They consist of political, social, religious, intramural, sports, and service groups. You can see some examples here, on the left-hand side of the screen. Also, Greek life, as I mentioned earlier, it's a big thing on our campus. About 34% of our students are involved, as I mentioned. That's around 11,000 students total. You can see we have some pretty nice Greek houses on campus. I think that's one of the reasons why some students are so interested. But another fun fact, not too many people know, students involved in our Greek system actually have a higher GPA than students that are not. So they do a tremendous job of keeping each other academically accountable and maintaining a high level of academic success. We do require freshmen to live on campus. We have 34 different housing options on campus, 3 different all-you-care-to-eat dining halls. There's also tons of restaurants like Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, Penn Express, all that good stuff located on campus. And there's tons of restaurants within walking distance off campus as well. As I mentioned, if you do plan on visiting, let me know and I'll send you a list of some places to eat and places to explore off campus as well. Students register early enough for housing will have the opportunity to pick their room and pick their roommate. And typically that priority housing deadline is February 1, and then we'll allow students to make those selections early on in May. How to apply, pretty easy application, no essay, no letter of recommendation. This year, we're going to be moving onto the Common App for the first time. So that should be opening up in August, but you should also be able to apply on our website, gobama.ua.edu/apply. So you can find that information there. We're a public out-of-state school. Any public out-of-state school is going to have out-of-state costs of attendance, out-of-state tuition. Ours is around $30,000. Total cost is around $44,000 before scholarships or financial aid is applied. Speaking of which, this is what our scholarships were this past year. They ranged, as you can see, between $6,000 and $28,000 per year. That's based on a student's GPA and also their highest SAT or ACT test score. Because so many students, especially here in California, weren't able to test, we did go test optional for fall 2021, and we implemented a competitive scale that also ranged from between $6,000 and $28,000 per year based off of a student's core GPA and the strength of their scholarship application.
Kevin, we're going to transition to our question and answer period. We've usually allotted time, but we thank you for all the great information. In the time we have left, we're going to walk through a couple of questions that we'll have each of our panelists react to. So the first question we'd pose to the group is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? We'll start at the top with the University of Advancing Technology, and we'd ask each of our panelists to maybe offer 30 seconds on the topic. Go ahead.
Thank you, Dave. I would advise visiting the universities either virtually or in person when offered, so you can get the vibe of the whole campus, talk to the student ambassadors, ask them questions about clubs, activities, see if it's the right cultural fit for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, DigiPen.
Sort of similar to that, if you're not able to visit, try to reach out through your social contacts, whether that's your school counselor or people, maybe family, friends know, different people know. Just try to talk to people who are actually going to the college or have been to the college, because I think that's really helpful for you to understand what it's like to be a student there. And I think a lot of these schools are more specialized for degree programs. So don't be afraid to reach out to people working in these professions and ask them what their work is like and what their job is like before embarking on a long journey to get a very specific degree.
Thank you. Worcester?
Yeah, so I would say it's a pretty unique time with everybody being forced to be remote. And a lot of us and a lot of other universities have done a really great job of instituting a lot of great virtual events that you be able to consider. You know, being in Massachusetts and most of you being in California, it's great for you to take advantage of those before even stepping on campus to have a good idea about whether or not we're a good fit. And I'd encourage you to take advantage of those at any school you might be interested in, since you can do it from your kitchen table or your couch.
Thank you. Texas Tech?
Yes, I definitely get to know your admissions counselors. That's one of the big things I always want to convey to students is definitely get to know your admissions counselors. We're here to fight for you, because like Kevin and I, we both live out here in California. So there's a lot of us that actually live out here in California, a lot of colleges and universities. So definitely get to know your admissions counselors, because we would love.
Thank you. Last but not least, University of Alabama.
I would say keep doing what you're doing. I mean, if you're attending this type of event, you're keeping your options open, you're gathering information, so continue to do that. And then, as April said, get to know your counselor as well. And you know, we'll do our best to help you throughout this process, because I know each school is different and it can be kind of confusing. So keep your options open. And then, as April said, again, get to know your counselor.
Thank you. That's some great information. We're on to our second question. We'll repeat the order. What is your favorite event or tradition on campus? Starting at the top, University of Advancing Technology.
Our campus every semester has what's called the Global Game Jam, and that's where gaming students get together in teams, and they either have 24 or 48 hours straight to complete a video game and then compete against each other. So it's a very exciting event. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, DigiPen.
A lot of students at our school are involved in an event called Outbreak, and it's like a humans versus zombies game, and people are assigned to different teams and don't necessarily know who's on which team. And so it doesn't happen like in classes or in the building, but it's sort of a fun thing that happens every year, and a lot of people are involved in planning it.
Very good. Next up, Worcester.
Yeah, so WPI has a lot of really great traditions, especially because we've been around for a while. But one of my favorites is the night before classes start, freshman year. All our first year students will line up on one side of campus, and they walk across a bridge that connects to one side, the other side of campus. And there's a big party with all the staff and faculty, and they get some cool gifts. And then on graduation day, they line up on the side where the party was, and they walk across the bridge together one last time as a class to graduation, which happens on our quad located right on campus.
Very good. Texas Tech.
Yes, one of our big traditions at Texas Tech is our Carol of the Lights, which we string 25,000 lights around the campus with 20,000 attendees as well. We sing carols and hot chocolate. And 2 years ago, we had 9 proposals. So we'll see what happens this year. So that's a really fun event.
Thank you so much. Last but not least, University of Alabama.
I would say definitely a home football game. Saturdays in the fall in Tuscaloosa are pretty lively. So 100,000 seat football stadium, right in any stadium. And, we get people that travel from all over the country in most years, to get to Tuscaloosa to watch a home football game. So it's a lot of fun, quite an experience.
Very good. On to our last question. Give an interesting or fun fact about your school. University of Advancing Technology.
We have all technology degrees, and the Department of Defense funded part of our cyber warfare range. Thank you.
Next
up, DigiPen.
Our school does, instead of a regular career fair, they do a reverse career fair. So instead of going to tables where different people from different companies are standing, they have students with computers able to show their work on games or animation or whatever their portfolio projects are, so that the employers are able to see the student work instead of just walking around with a resume.
Very good. WPI.
Yeah, so interesting or fun fact, our school mascot is a goat. His name's Gompy. We're one of 2 schools in the country that has a goat as its mascot. It was named after an international student that attended WPI in the early 1900s, whose name was Gompy. He was elected as the goat keeper of the goat that was gifted by one of the graduating classes.
Thank you. Texas Tech.
Yes, one fun fact that we actually just won the NCAA for the mask for our Red Raiders. So we are now one of the top mascots. So that's super exciting at Tech.
Lastly, University of Alabama.
Say that we've produced 15 Rhodes Scholars. Again, I mentioned a lot of people think of us about athletics and things like that, but we also have very high achieving students academically as well.
That's excellent information. And with that, we will conclude our fair for today. We want to thank all of our panelists for the great information, their enthusiasm. We would ask that students fill out the 4-question survey up on the StriveScan website so we can improve these sessions for the future. Also, again, be aware we have additional sessions for additional institutions. So if you have interest, go ahead and sign up. Lastly, note the recording is going to be posted on the StriveScan website at strivescan.com/WACAC. Again, thanks everyone and have a great night.